When I was 12 years old, I proclaimed that by the time I'm 25, I'll be a millionaire. And I remember distinctly saying that to someone else. I had this blind ambition that it was going to happen, that somehow I would figure it out. Now, needless to say, I'm not 25. I'm past 25, and I am not a millionaire and never achieved it. So what is it that happened or didn't happen in that time? And what does it mean to say, I want to be a millionaire? And what would I tell my 12-year-old self now that I've gained a bit of wisdom and understanding about what life is really about? So first, let's look at what I was doing. I was creating a goal. When I was 12, I created a goal, millionaire by the time I'm 25. But what I didn't realize is that I'd created a goal that was completely out of my control. It required some kind of external triggers, events to happen in order to become wealthy. Let's forget the fact of what actually being a millionaire means. But just in that, I never, through those years, aligned what I was doing with that goal. In other words, I wasn't in control of my destiny. One thing I've learned recently is that really there are two things that you can control. You can control how you feel about something, and you can control what you do with that feeling. Everything else is sort of not within your control, especially when dealing with other people. You can't control how they feel about things. You may try to influence and you may try to discuss and disagree, but ultimately it's not your decision how they feel. That's not your control. So let me tell you a story. It was 2007 and I was traveling across America with a couple of friends, and we drove from New York up via Niagara Falls, down through Colorado to Las Vegas, then up to San Francisco. It was wonderful. I'm not someone who likes traveling, so this was kind of putting me out my comfort zone. And they got to a point where I was really enjoying the journey, just mind switched off from everything. When we got to Las Vegas, we went up the stratosphere, and there is a tower. And at the top, there's a ride that you can go on that kind of, you sit in it and you go over the edge, and then it kind of lets you float, several hundred feet above the ground. And weirdly, in that scenario, I became very calm. I always just relax and enjoy those kind of experiences when I'm not in control. In other words, my fate is sealed into the mechanics of the machine I'm in. There's nothing I can do that could put myself at harm at that moment. And being logically minded, I like to rely on statistics to find comfort and say, statistically, this thing has run many times before, therefore it's unlikely to cause a problem while I'm on it right now. And that's great. Now, a couple of days before that, we were at the Grand Canyon where they've got the skywalk. So they were just building it at the time, so it didn't have the visitor center, but they had the glass bridge that goes out and you can look down, and there's literally just glass between you and several hundred feet below. But that terrified me. I'm scared of heights, and the idea of standing, actually wasn't really the glass that was the problem, standing near the edge of the Grand Canyon, relying on me, everything that's within my control, how I balance myself, that terrifies me. Now, my good friend Robert was with me at the time. He was more than happy standing at the edge with his camera looking up and down. Me, I'd lose balance, but he would do that and he felt completely in control. But put him on the ride and he felt out of control. And I find that really fascinating because in my mind, I've made the decision that I'm not in control of fate. I'm in control of what I can do, my decisions. I can decide how I feel about something, and I can decide on the actions I do. In other words, put me on the edge of the Grand Canyon, I can decide whether to stay there or move away. And when I feel at risk, I'm going to move away. there's something that's wanting me to take control. But put me on the ride, once we're past the decision to go on it, put me on that ride, there's nothing I can do, and I relax. And I like that. I like that feeling that when fate throws you a curveball, just take it. Because there's nothing you can do. Ride it out, decide how you want to feel about it, and decide what you want to do. So, with this in mind, and fast forward to where my life is now, and reflecting back as my 12-year-old self about being a millionaire, I'd set this goal where it was completely down to fate. And that's really odd, having a goal where it's up to fate. It's not a goal, it's a wish. It's nothing but a wish. So I've reflected on that now, and I've realized that everything that I do now has to align to how do I want to feel about something and what actions do I take. So any goal I set now is a tangible set of actions or feelings that I will decide I must achieve. And in doing that, that's when I start putting the stepping stones forward at being able to start achieving the things that I really am doing it for. So an example is building a startup. I can have a goal that, by this time in 6 months, I will have 2,000 users of my startup and we will be making £5,000 a month in revenue. That goal doesn't mean anything because it doesn't tell me what actions I need to take. It's completely out of my control. Therefore, it's a meaningless goal. It's a wish. So I can't use that as a goal. But what I can do is I can use logic of how you build a startup, how you market a startup, and set myself tangible, actionable goals. So, for example, I can say, I will build X, Y, and Z in the next 3 weeks and launch that. I cannot control how it will perform, but what I can do is control what I do that increases the chance of it doing something. And I can do that every step of the way. I can have a goal saying, for the startup, I need to have an audience size on social media of 500 people within the next 3 months. I can set that as a goal, but what I actually do is I can say, I'm going to spend an hour a day doing these actions that will increase the chance of people following. I can control what I do. I cannot control the outcome of that. So that's how I'm going to view these goals. So if I go back to my 12-year-old self, I would actually really focus on 2 things. One is educate myself that a wish is not a goal. It won't happen if you don't align your actions that can yield those results. Focus on the actions and the intrinsic value. What I mean by that is take pride and happiness in doing the small achievements and let the big things sort themselves out. The old phrase, save the pennies and the pounds will follow. It's actually kind of true. Do the small things and the big things will follow. The second thing is actually understanding what it means to have £1 million or be a millionaire. And it turns out that actually I don't value that as much as I used to. It was an ideal. It was kind of a marker of success. It's the kind of the ultimate goal. But really, being happy in the work that you do, feeling that you've got control of the work you do, the autonomy, the creativity, really understanding and loving yourself is a huge, huge factor of finding happiness. And when it's all said and done, I don't need to exit this life with some crazy legacy like Steve Jobs or anyone like that. I just need to have known that I've created something that was slightly better than when I started, that I enjoyed doing it, and the people around me, their lives were enriched just that bit better. And the more people who I can enrich, the better. That's why I like doing the YouTube channel, so that I can help share some of this journey and hopefully enrich someone else's life. Those are the things that are actually important. I don't need lots of money. I don't need expensive cars, an expensive house. I'm not saying they wouldn't be appreciated, but actually it's better to appreciate what you have today. And what I have today is opportunity, health, family, and I'm at the right time of human existence to have a lot of fun. I do wonder what my life would be like if computers weren't invented. And when I think of that, I'm just immensely thankful. So there you go. That's what I'd teach my 12-year-old self. It's not about being a millionaire. It's about being happy. And you'll feel like a millionaire, as cliche as that is. That was a bit tacky, that was, but it's kind of true. So thank you very much. Catch you in the next video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you want more of this content, hit the subscribe button. And if you want to join the conversation, leave a comment or reach out on Twitter. Twitter's the thing that I love using. Go send me a message. Catch you next time.